Thank you, Delaney. Welcome to Unity of Mesa. Woo! We're here, we're ready, our hearts are open, our minds are open, and we are so blessed by your presence here in the room and here online. We're so grateful that you are joining Unity of Mesa. My name's Reverend Mindy Tucker. I serve as co-minister here. On the platform today we have Junia Pin, we have Nicole Jensen, Reverend Nikki is giving the lesson. The youth will come up along with Julie Treglon, the Youth and Family Ministries Director, and I think that might be it in terms of the people who are serving you and leading you and inviting you into a deeper understanding of your oneness with God and a recognition that you are the transforming presence of love in the world. Here at Unity of Mesa, we are part of a larger movement that's worldwide, that builds consciousness, a consciousness of love, of joy, and peace, a consciousness that certainly begins in the heart of God, but from God's heart to your heart. God's heart to your heart, we soon have a community connected heart to heart, knowing that there's only one presence and one power, active in the universe and in our lives, a presence and power that we call God. So let's take that idea, that truth, into a time of prayer. Breathing is the best way to remind ourselves of our oneness with God. Breathing in life and breathing out that which no longer serves us. Old patterns, old beliefs, control, power over, power under. And remember, with each life-giving breath, that we are the light of the world. It is our heart and our mind that shines forth as love, compassion, and kindness. It is our love, it is our light that shines forth as perfect health. It is our light and our love that shines forth as an invitation to connect and know Spirit, God, love in more expansive ways. And so it is, so we let it be. Amen. And here's Reverend Nikki now.
We have two announcements and only two. The first one is, it's the last day to sign up for Feed My Starving Children. But the upside of that, which is really an upside, is we're full. Yay, y'all.
Yay, y'all, but yay especially for the people who signed up and are going to be super hyper responsible and show up on Saturday. At what time, Sue King?
At 11:15.
At 11:15 at Feed My Starving Children. It's right there on Alma School. It's so easy to get to. There's plenty of parking, and it's lots of fun. So good for Unity of Mesa. The second announcement is that not today, but next Sunday, August 27th, we're having a town hall meeting. Town hall meetings are an opportunity to come and see what else is happening. On Sunday mornings, you get a lesson, you get some great music, you get some good community, but you don't ever get to find out, like, when is the garden project finally going to get done? And wow, I just want to say thank you for whoever finally got the grouting in between the tile and the bathroom. I mean, just like that kind of stuff, the nitty-gritty, the really fun stuff. Plus, you get to find out what's up and coming in classes. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, town hall meeting.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to invite you to stand as you are able and sing with us. Love is my decision.
right here and now. We'll do that again. She was right on time. It was me. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give all my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Thank you so much.
We have Arn Richardson joining us today. He's going to share our intergenerational moment. Thank you, Arn, for being willing to share yourself with us.
You're welcome. Good morning. As it says, my name is Arn Richardson, and I've been coming to this church about 14 years, and I'm part of the boomer generation. It's coming from an 11-year-old. So a couple of caveats. One is that I've been given 2 to 3 minutes, and that's not long enough to go into depth. Nikki sent me a text yesterday and asked me to come up and talk about some of the ways that unity has impacted my life. So it's a limited time. The other thing is that whatever I say is just from my experience. My experience has been through this church and through this room. I mean, I know of other unities, but it's from the classes I've taken, the books I've read. I've been here through 7 different ministers. So, but that's anything I say is just from that vein. And then what unity has done for me is it's given me a logical approach to spirituality. And I really appreciate that. And also in intentions and in actions to live in accordance with the principles that we teach here and with principle itself. So I've learned and gained in that way as well. It's given me a place of diversity. There's a whole lot of different types of people here with a whole lot of different types of views. And here, to my knowledge, we honor the differences, and I really appreciate that. And another thing is that we are willing to have uncomfortable conversations here, and that has helped me as well. I'm getting better at those things. I've gotten a chance to have an honest appraisal of how to be in integrity in all the different ways that I've volunteered here and all the different things that I've done throughout the time. I've had an opportunity to learn how to be a member of leadership here in an ethical manner. I don't know that I always succeeded at that, but it was something that I really tried at, and that is of value to me, so I've gotten that. For me, this room and all of us here have been a safe space with less judgment. And I just, that goes back to that diversity thing. Honestly speaking, the other thing that I've gotten from here is it's an outlet for hugs. I like to hug, I like to be hugged, I like to give you hugs, and if anybody ever wants a hug, I like to hug. And we do that here, so I really like that a lot. So, to try to conclude it in my short time period, I have gotten a family here, I've learned how to live in community here, and I've learned how to participate in a healthier manner. So, that's it.
Jai, come on up. It's your time. Hi everyone, we have Jai here. He's one of our uni teens, and he's going to be leading us in our affirmation today.
I am in the present, each moment, and I live my life to the fullest. Thank you.
What do you want us to say to you?
Oh yeah, right. Please say it with me. I live my life in the present, and I live my life to the fullest.
One more time. Let's do it one more time.
I am present in each moment, and I live my life to the fullest.
Thank you, Jai. All right. Before our children go out to class and our teens, let's say the children's blessing.
Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
Have a wonderful time. Have a small but mighty group today. Sis Julie. Be patient with the healing. What took decades, centuries, even lifetimes to set into place is being unraveled in months and years. What a change. Stopping the flow by and let the current spiral. Be patient with the healing. You are so used to pushing and pulling the body around, your body, the body of people, the body of the earth, to fit the ideas of the mind. If you cultivate presence, so many problems are solved. But in the chaos of the changing, it takes immense patience to sit steady in yourself, to listen and truly dialogue with what is, to face requirements of what the dialogue reveals, to move, knowing the purity of your intentions, to remain gentle but unbending while so much falls away. Be patient with the healing, for the old must give way to the new. And as in your dreams and vision, this new self, this new culture, this new world, they are being constructed one moment at a time in the cycling oneness of our lives. We are connected
know that when you are praying, others are praying too, just by the fact of our oneness. What a joy to know that. We're going to talk about a form of prayer today, an affirmative form of prayer. We're going to talk about the pause. So have you ever been actively involved in something you're so excited about and you're moving along and all of a sudden, there's a pause? There's a pause and there's nothing you can do with it. That pause may come from the obstacle that's now in your way because you've made a full-on commitment to something. That pause may come from the fact that you have to wait on somebody else. That pause may just come from circumstances. Think about what you feel when you experience that pause. Does self-doubt come up? Do you ever wonder, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to do this anyway? Do you ever get frustrated? Do you ever lack patience? Maybe your impatience comes up a little bit when that happens? Or do you just sit back and go, oh, this is simply a pause. All I really need to do is trust it. Oh, I hear the laughter in the room. That's a hard one for me too. Oh, I'm supposed to trust this pause. I had such great momentum going on. And yet, when we can trust the pause, then we can remember the truth that we often share here. I am in the right place, at the right time, right now. Will you say that with me? I am in the right place, at the right time, right now. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, you can pray. I am in the right place, at the right time, right now. You might have to say it through clenched teeth. You might have to say it 50 times. But when you're stuck in traffic, if you can remember you're simply in the right place at the right time right now, it's just not the place or the way that you had envisioned it. There must be a better way. The next time that you feel like things are not going fast enough and unfolding fast enough, you can say, I am in the right place at the right time right now. The next time you're waiting for that phone call and you're like waiting and they're supposed to call at 10 a.m. and here it is noon and I'm waiting around for this phone call to know what my next step is, you can say, I am in the right place at the right time right now. I know it can be hard to do, but when we can remember that we're always in the right place at the right time, and that time is always now because now is the only time that we have, we can drop the impatience. We can let go of the doubt. We can release the frustration if we're willing to do so. Tara Brach, who's a Buddhist teacher, tells this story. It's a folklore, really, of a man who is very frightened of a shadow. And so he sees his shadow and he starts to run, hoping that he can outrun his shadow. So he's running and he's running and he's running and he's running, and he cannot outrun his shadow. But he's very vigilant, and he knows that if he just runs fast enough and hard enough, he can outrun his shadow. And eventually, he darts over dead from exhaustion. The moral, as you know, folk tales have a moral. The moral of this story is simply that if he had taken a moment and paused under a tree in the shade, his shadow would have simply disappeared. How often do we try to run through something in this fast-paced society, thinking that if we can just go fast enough, that we can get it done. If we just go fast enough, we'll figure out the solution. If we can just think hard enough. And yet, if we are willing to trust the pauses that occur naturally in life, then we can tune in to that inner guidance that's within us. The Bible teaches about trusting the pause, and it does so through this verse in Isaiah 40:31. Oh, the slide's a little funny, but oh well. So it's taking its own pause, clearly. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew. What are they going to renew? Let's take a breath. They're going to renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is a promise. It's a prophecy that Isaiah made. It's made for us. It's teaching us that if we're willing to trust that pause, if we're willing to stand in that pause, knowing that only good can come out of that pause, then this is what happens. We can wait for the Lord. We can renew our strength. We can mount up like wings of eagles. You know, when eagles soar, they're amazingly magnificent birds. We can run and not be weary, and we can walk and not faint. Let's take a moment and look at some of the words metaphysically. To wait upon the Lord, means to listen to that voice of Spirit within us. Lord is spiritual law. So when we turn within in our waiting, when we pause in our waiting, and we turn our awareness to our oneness with God, to our divinity, to our inner guidance, then we are living in spiritual law. We can then find the energy of God. And remember, we have all of the capacities of God within us already, as much as we will ever have. We have as much faith, we have as much zeal, we have as much love, we have as much spiritual intelligence, and all of the other 12 powers that Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, talks about. We have those already. The question is, are we living them fully? But part of what we need to do is recognize that that strength is already within us, and we can unfold it, we can open it up by living in principle. And when we do so, we get the freedom from material limitations. We get the freedom from emotional limitations also. And then we can acknowledge the power of the Christ within us. So let's look at the same Isaiah passage metaphysically. Those who listen to the voice of Spirit within and utilize spiritual principles shall renew their energy of God. They shall mount up with freedom from spiritual limitations like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall acknowledge the power of the Christ within and not faint. Not faint. No, not go fuzzy. Not go, oh, I don't know what to do next. But instead of fainting, we can get clear direction from this prophecy, from this way of being, from this lesson. But we have to practice something we call patience. Say that word with me. Patience. Have you ever had trouble with that word? Wish you could just exit out of the dictionary in your vocabulary? And yet Charles Fillmore says that patience is an attitude of mind characterized by poise, inner calmness, and quiet, respectful trust, especially in the face of trying conditions. When we are in the midst of the pause, we have an opportunity, based on our choices, to accept and trust the pause, engage our power of faith, to know that when we turn within, that the right and perfect answer for us, it may not be the right and perfect answer for our neighbor, but the right and perfect answer for us is available to us. It will come. And when we're willing to be patient, when we're willing to pause, when we're willing to engage in prayer, in meditation, when we're willing to affirm that we're always in the right place at the right time right now, when we're willing to do that, then we can meet anything that appears to be a challenge. We can meet it head on with a sense of confidence, with poise, with an inner confidence that, yes, I can handle this because I have all of the strength of God within me. I can handle this because I have all of the spiritual intelligence I need to move forward, and to move forth in a way that unfolds, which is another term for growth, unfolds my life perfectly. Metaphysically, when we're growing, then Spirit gives us more to grow around in a beautiful way. It doesn't always have to be a challenge, but we have more joy, more harmony, more peace. We have a greater sense of light. We have a bigger sense of ourselves and our own worthiness. And so when we're coming from that consciousness, it's much easier to move into a time where we can pause, we can take a breath, we can spend the time in meditation, we can spend the time in prayer. And remember to say, I'm in the right place at the right time right now is a form of prayer. It's a form of affirmative prayer, which is our major way of praying in unity. There were some psychological researchers, they were actually working on an app called Happy. Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert. And what they discovered in their research and in their work with this app is that 46.9% of people, when they're awake and they're engaged in an activity, have their mind all over the place. So I might be up here speaking, but my mind's out there in the garden playing around. Mine is not actually right now, but that's what we do. We're working on driving, and have you ever gotten to a place and went, oh, I think I missed my exit? Have you ever done that? Our mind is out wandering around instead of coming in focused. And yet when we are willing to come and into the pause, to trust that pause, to bring our faith to it, when we are willing to spend time each day in prayer and meditation, and we can do it in our own ways, then we can take our mind and direct it. We can direct it in the activity that we're in, so we're more present in the activity that we are in. We can direct our mind to what we are actually doing. We can actually have attention to. We might get through that process a lot quicker. Gay Hendricks wrote a book called The Big Leap many years ago. And one of the things he talks about is an alpha day, that everybody should take one of their 7 days of the week and create an alpha day, meaning you don't do anything during that alpha day. You don't load and unload the dishwasher. You don't do the laundry. You don't mow the grass. You don't vacuum the house. You don't do your work when you're at home. He's really talking about taking a physical pause. And what he says is that when we're willing to do this and do this consistently, when we go back to work, we're much more effective and we're much more efficient in our work. We're able to focus our attention better than just 46.9%. We're able to bring our awareness to the task at hand and to complete it. Now, Jesus did this. We have lots of examples, particularly in Matthew and Luke. When Jesus encountered the crowd and their disciples came to him and said, people are hungry. People are hungry. What are you going to do? And Jesus said, what are you going to do? And they said, we don't know what to do. He paused. Jesus paused, and they invited the disciples to go through the crowd and see what they could find. 5 loaves, 2 loaves and 5 fishes. I have it reversed. Anyway, he found loaves and fishes. I think he's feeling a little nervous. So he had some loaves and fishes. And what he does, the first thing he does is look heavenward. He pauses to connect with that consciousness within him that is pure abundance. He pauses to know who he is. He pauses to know that he has the capacity to make this work. And so there's a bunch of baskets of food left over when everybody has eaten. And then he and the disciples go up on a mountain to pray. So he takes another pause. Before Jesus even chose his disciples, he takes a pause. He reflects. He decides, what do I want? Who do I want? How do I want to go forth in my ministry? And then at the Garden of Gethsemane, before the soldiers come, he pauses. He goes to pray. Goes into the garden to pause. It's a pause. It's a pause that refreshes and rejuvenates him. It's a pause that brings him back into alignment with divine mind, what he would call God. back into that place where Jesus says, the Father and I are one, or God and I are one. And from that oneness, he knows that that consciousness can create what we often think is impossible. We just have to put our mind to it. We have to be willing in the pause to look at our belief systems, because what we believe is what we manifest. What we believe is what we create. So in that pause, we can take time to look into what we're thinking about. We can refresh ourselves. We can renourish ourselves. We can rejuvenate ourselves. Within the pause, we connect to our own heart. And we can ask ourselves the question, what do I really want? Have I been running as fast as I can simply because the rest of society is doing that? Or can I stop, tune in, turn within? Can I face myself and my choices fully? Sometimes that's a scary thing. But when we're trusting the pause, we know that we already have that inner guidance. Because Isaiah has already told us, when we wait upon the Lord, all that we want will be done because of the Christ within us. But we have to do the waiting. We have to bring our patience. We have to bring our spiritual intelligence. We have to bring our gifts. And we have to make some clear and sometimes difficult choices. But when we are willing to do this, we get some amazing benefits. We get that opportunity. When we're willing to pause, we get the opportunity to think and to reflect. Have you ever had the experience where somebody said something and you just opened your mouth and said the first thing that was on your mind, and oops, that might have been not the best thing to say? Listen. Take I want to show up. Then we can come to the interaction with our full consciousness rather than with only part of our consciousness, with our mind out here wandering around. When we're willing to pause, we can rest and renourish and recharge. Vacations are for that, but it doesn't take a vacation to be able to do that. It takes making some time each day to be with yourself. And maybe you're going to sit and look out over the beautiful mountains that surround us. Maybe you're going to do it through a walk. Maybe you're going to do it just breathing in and out for 5 minutes, and see if you can do that and notice how your physiological energy shifts. We also have the space when we pause to listen deeply and gain understanding. Have you ever had the experience where you're in the middle of something, you know exactly what you're doing, you've got it all worked out, and somebody comes in and they're in a hurry and they just start changing things around, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. Have you ever had that experience? Or have you been the one to do that? Because we're so fast moving in this world that when we stop, when we pause, when we look at each other in the eye, and I know that that feels uncomfortable for some of us, but when we're willing to stop and pause and look each other in the eye, we can listen deeply. There's stages of listening for accuracy, meaning you're listening to the words that somebody's saying, and you can repeat them back very accurately. But under that is listening for the meaning of their words. And it takes us pausing, being present with another person, making that heart-to-heart connection to be able to do that. And then we gain understanding. And that understanding is that deeper level of what is it that that individual truly wants? What's really going on in their lives? Can I be present for the moment to hear that, to listen deeply, and to embrace that that is their experience? It may not be our experience, but whatever experience they're going through is their experience. This is what builds community. this heart-to-heart connection. This is what builds belongingness. When I believe that I can come into a place and open-heartedly share with somebody, then I belong in that place. And lastly, but not leastly, we can develop creative ways to respond. This is a form of response ability or response agility. Respond differently to something that's not a challenge, but maybe we want to paint a picture, or maybe Reverend Mindy talked about 2 weeks ago. We have to pause. Forward in a way that nourishes us. Move forward in a way that makes our hearts sing, so that we can interact with each other in ways that as we are enjoying each other's company, it truly is delightful and enjoyable. This is what we can do with a pause. I pause to listen to the voice of Spirit. I'm just simply changing Isaiah around a little bit. I'm being a little audacious in doing so, but I pause to listen to the voice of Spirit within and align my mind with divine mind to free myself from mental and spiritual limitations. With each step, I acknowledge the presence and the power of Christ within, and I live in a state of ease and joy. When we practice the pause, when we trust the pause enough to practice it, this is what we get, a state of ease and joy. If this is something you're interested in, would you say it with me together?
I pause to listen to the voice of Spirit within and align my mind with divine mind to free myself from mental and spiritual limitations. With each step, I acknowledge the presence and the power of Christ within and live in a state of ease and joy.
You know, the only limitations that we have in our lives are the ones that we place before ourselves. And pausing, listening to Spirit, opening to the divinity within us helps us to erase those limitations so that we can live a full and free life. I'm going to invite you to join us in singing Lead Me to the Light. We're inviting Spirit to lead us into what's already within us. The Spirit that's within us is leading us to the answer that's already within us. And that answer is the right and perfect answer for us. It's the one that fits the curriculum that we've laid out for ourselves. Lead me into the light. Lead me into the pathway that's right for me, that brings me into ease and joy in my life. Lead me through the difficulty of my impatience, so that I can rest in the knowing that I'm always in the right place, at the right time, right now. Let's take those thoughts into a moment of sacred and holy silence. Experience the harmony that is yours by divine right. Seek within you to experience your divinity in every moment of the day, to rest in that consciousness, to be willing to step into the unknown with the pause, trusting, having faith, that unfoldment, that growth that's before us comes with ease, comes with a clearer sense of our own consciousness, and comes with a deep knowing, the truth of who we are, and the truth that we are always in the right place. Right time. And that time is always the moment that we're in. As the lights begin to come up, breathe into that pause that you've been experiencing in meditation. Celebrate yourself for your willingness to go there for a moment or more. And delight in the knowing that you have everything that you need to create the life of your dreams.
I'm grateful that I've been led here to Unity of Mesa. There's been different times in which there's been times that have been inspiration and has led me to be in the place that I am now, being a board member and being board member today. I'm so grateful for that, and for those gifts and talents that I've been able to share in the different caps I wear here at Unity of Mesa. And I come to you today in sharing your gifts and offerings of your gifts and talents, and the love that you will be sharing with us today. And so there's different ways you can do that. You can do that online. My husband and I do that all the time when we give ours. And you can do it on the Venco app, which is a text. And you can also text the 800 number here. And always there's a person here to receive the mail and in person. So if you'd like to share your offering in the basket today, also share the love that you're giving in the basket also. And let's share together these words.
Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is.
Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Happy is the heart that still feels pain. Darkness drains and light will come again. Swing open up your chest and let it in. Just let the love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, everybody knows the love. Everybody holds the love. Everybody falls for love. Everybody feels the love. Everybody steals the love. Everybody heals with love. So let the love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, just let the love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, just let the love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved.
Let that everybody wants to be loved stay with you all week because I will.
Does you want to dance?
Yeah, the ushers are coming forward, and together, collectively, we bless your generosity with great gratitude for all the ways that you support Unity of Mesa in creating spiritual community, in expanding consciousness, in reminding people that they are the transforming presence of love in this world. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We say together, we are one with the opulence of God. We are now in the flow of infinite abundance, and we give thanks for the prosperity that is ours by divine right. Yes, it is. We have hospitality in the community room if you are present in the building. We have prayer chaplains in the building that are available to pray with you if you're a chaplain and you are one of the designated prayers. Today I see Jim has his stole on. Ian, you want to stand up and so people can know who to go to? Okay, these are the go-to people. If you're watching online and want prayer support, Rev Nikki at unityofmesa.org, or there is a link on our website that sends you directly to the chaplain team themselves.
It's a really wonderful thing to do, to pray. Remember, we are always in the right place
At the right time, right now.
So thank you for your presence here. really been touched, moved, or inspired, tell each other about how you've been touched, moved, or inspired. Talk to each other about a pause that you have had that has delighted you, that has moved yourself into the next step. Or just talk about, can you help me to meditate a little bit more fully? And I bet you there's a bunch of people in this room that can do just that.
They'll have a few opinions. It's human nature.
Lots of fun doing it.
All right.